What year did you go in to the military?
1968, and I left in 1970, and my tour was 1 year in Vietnam.
Now, you didn't choose to be a medic.
Did not choose, did not want to be. I passed out at the sight of blood.
Yeah.
And so that would have been my last choice.
Right.
Out of the 24 medics that came in with me on the rotation, only 3 made it through the whole tour without being wounded or KIA.
First of all, I want to thank you for your service to the United States of America, to God, this church, your country.
Yes.
And I read your bio yesterday.
Yes.
And if I remember right, 115 times
I dropped in to incoming fire.
Right.
Incoming fire. And I didn't know how many drops, but at the end of my year of service in Vietnam, they told me, and they awarded me with 3 air medals, which is one of the highest awards you can get in Vietnam. And to accomplish it, get an air medal, you needed 35 drops. And so I got 3 air medals. So about 115 times I was flown in and dropped into a hostile fire.
You know, bravery is not being scared to death and going crazy and doing something.
Yes.
Bravery is when you know that you're in harm's way.
Yes.
And you rise above it and you do your job.
And I did my job.
But God did his job too.
And I just really think it was a miracle that I was protected in Vietnam.
Right.
We caught a ride on a laundry truck, and the laundry truck ran over a mine. And that's where I got my Purple Heart. I happened to be sitting on the laundry bags, which saved my life.
Yeah.
That night, while I was laying on a donut, on a cot, in the little MASH unit, I was thinking, I am smart enough with a college degree to get out of Vietnam. There has got to be a way to get out of this place. But before the sunrise, God made it clear to me, and I guess I've been praying so hard not to go, I wasn't listening to him. But I knew God had a purpose, that I was at the right place.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
He had me there for a reason.
Right.
So he assured me that he would take care of me. During that year, I brought you here. You're here for a purpose, and I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
I was just given an M16. I didn't know where the safety was on it. I was trained as a medic, not with an airborne combat ranger unit. And so the lieutenant gave us instructions, hit the ground running to the North Shore line. And so as soon as we were on the helicopter, everybody was sitting on their helmets. And it was very loud. I said, "Why is everybody sitting on their helmets?" No one answered me. They just pointed to the floorboard, all the bullet holes. Good idea. Off came the helmet on the helicopter. We landed, and I was so scared, and I didn't know what I was doing. I hit the ground and stayed down low.
Yeah.
And I looked around, and there was nobody around me. And I was like, "Psst, where did everybody go?" Psst, psst, psst. I was all by myself, Pastor. Of course, I went the opposite direction. Went through the enemy lines, found the platoon that we were supposed to rescue, and I heard somebody say, "Stop there, who goes?" And I said, "This is Lavoy Jones from Tennessee." And he said, "Don't move, there's booby traps everywhere. And so we'll come and get you." So they came in to me, and the lieutenant said, "Who the blankety blank are you, and what are you doing here?" "I've come to rescue you." So he got a hold of my lieutenant and said, "Are you missing a medic?" And they asked around, "Yeah, we are missing a medic."
Yeah.
"Well, we'll get him back to you."
Can you give us a specific example of when you were under fire?
Yes.
And maybe you were frightened out of your wits, but you were still doing your job.
Yes.
But you called on God, and you knew other people were praying for you too.
We were on an operation, and we went to a village, and we got there just while the Viet Cong was leaving. So we set up in this village at a nighttime, and it was just a couple hooches, what they call their houses. And everybody took turns on their guard duty, and I was with the lieutenant and the first sergeant. And at 12 o'clock, it was my turn, and one of the perimeter people, they evidently fell asleep, and I was throwing rocks at them and trying to get their attention and calling them on a radio. About that time, we were overrun by the Viet Cong. They overran the small 4-point, and they were coming right in on us. The lieutenant was sleeping in a hammock above me. They shot him dead, and they wounded the sergeant. And it was me against a full company of Viet Cong. I got my M16 and started firing, and the rifle was shot out from under my hand. So I was there, and I called in an airstrike, and I said, they asked me where, and I said, send it to the coordinates where we are on the top of our head. And they said, we can't do that, it's against the regulations. I said, I got 5 minutes to live, send it. And I could hear the artillery leaving 10 miles away. And it actually was, psh. I got down as low as I could get. And about the same time, at North Cleveland Church of God, and we figured out the time change. My mother stopped choir practice and said, I need to pray for my son.
Yeah.
I believe that an angel directed that artillery 30 feet from where I was saying. Artillery round after artillery round, and God saved me, saved my wounded first sergeant, and there was quiet then. The artillery absolutely killed the Viet Cong incoming enemy. Wow. So that was one of the scariest moments, because I thought it was the end, and I really believe that an angel directed that artillery channel. An historic event happened while I was over there. Nixon started a Vietnamization program, and an early troop withdrawal, and I was part of that. So when I left Vietnam, they flew me to Saigon. I met with the president of Vietnam to congratulate me, and then they flew me to Seattle, where I was met by the Secretary of Defense. So this was kind of, you can just barely see me on Time magazine when I got off the plane in Seattle. There were protesters out there and baby killers, but none of that bothered me. I was so happy to be home that it just all went over my head.
Yeah. Well, one thing you had,
yes,
is you had a good church.
Yes.
A great, wonderful mother praying for you.
Yes.
And a great country.
Yes.
And we are all grateful for you, Lavoy, and your service.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Amen.